Hello friends, here's Smart Week, and today's episode features Figure 1, potentially the first universal robot android. GPT chat is rapidly taking jobs away from employees of American companies. Boston Dynamics RoboPass was the model section of Paris Fashion Week. A new helmet gives the user X-ray vision like Superman. Moto Cycles showed a futuristic motorcycle in the style of Cyberpunk 2077. Honda unveiled a third-generation unmanned truck. Relativity Space's 3D printed rocket is ready for launch. China is about to expand its space station. All this and more right now, let's go! We didn't think it would come to this, but now we have news from the fashion world. Of course, in our technological style, Boston Dynamics staged a performance with the famous four-legged spot robots at Paris Fashion Week. There were 5 spots in all, and they didn't just watch the model's actions, but directly participated in the performance. A robot with an arm attached helped a girl take off her cape. Before that, they performed a peculiar rite of recognition. They approached each other and looked at each other. Social networks published a snapshot of the interaction between the models and the robot. The performance was accompanied by strange music, reminiscent of a drum beat. In another video, other robots can be seen behind the models, lurking as if waiting for the results of their interactions with their flesh and blood relatives. Robotics startup Figure, which brought together 40 leading engineers from IHMC, Boston Dynamics, Tesla, Waymo, and Google X, revealed the world's first commercially viable general-purpose humanoid robot called Figure 01. The company shared renderings based on a CAD model of a real robot that Figure plans to build. The robot will be all-electric, 1.6 meter high, weigh 60 kilogram, with a payload of 20 kilogram, and will be able to operate for 5 hours without recharging. The company has already finished the alpha version and expects it to take its first steps within the next 30 days. Then the team will begin the hardware and software version of the second generation, which will be completed by the end of the summer. In the summer, according to the startup's technical director, the technology available today in robotics can achieve about 60% of the human characteristics of degrees of freedom, peak speeds, and torque. That is, it is now impossible to create a robot that is better than a human. This approach has helped Figure limit the design of the machine to considerations of commercial viability. Like most other companies working on commercial humanoids, Figure is primarily considering their use in warehouses. Figure believes they have a realistic chance of becoming the first company to commercialize a universal humanoid robot. The potential demand is so great that they are not particularly worried about competition, but it will take significant technological advances to get there, Figure points out. In its master plan, first and foremost, the company needs to build its own system hardware. The team is developing a fully electromechanical humanoid, including arms with degrees of freedom. As close to human hands, Figure aims to reduce the unit cost of individual robots through high-throughput mass production. OpenAI's GPT chatbot is quickly taking jobs away from employees at U.S. companies, according to the portal. 1,000 employers are using or planning to use the new technology, which appeared just a few months ago. In about half of the companies, GPT has already replaced employees in a number of tasks. The results of the survey of business executives showed that employers are planning to optimize the performance of some tasks using the GPT chatbot. For example, 66% of companies use GPT for writing code, 58% use it as a substitute for copywriter labor, 57% use it in customer support services, and 52% use it to write resumes, meetings, and prepare other documents. The survey found that nearly all of the company representatives surveyed have saved money thanks to the GPT chatbot. 48% reported being able to save more than $50,000, and 11% reported saving more than $100,000. Of the businesses that reported using the bot, 93% announced their intention to expand its use, and 90% of executives believe the GPT will be useful to job seekers. If it hasn't already replaced them in the workplace, the technology is also being heavily criticized. There are news stories about the likelihood of plagiarism or some form of cheating with the GPT chatbot. Many mention racism, sexism, and inaccuracies in the bot's work. Not to mention its emotional instability, OpenAI's use of the GPT chatbot has shown this repeatedly. Introduced GPT last November and released as a stable version in February, OpenAI head Sam Altman has previously warned against relying on bots for anything important. And in a series of recent tweets, he expressed concern about development vectors and technology. Engineers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have developed an experimental augmented reality system called XR that combines computer vision and wireless perception to help find requested objects, even if they are hidden from view. Specifically, the device can identify objects hidden inside a box or lying under a pile of other items. XR consists of a modified Microsoft HoloLens mixed reality headset, as well as small, inexpensive RFID tags. The latter are powered by radio waves from a random handheld reader. The tags then transmit a radio signal with information about the item and back. As far as the word goes, these signals can pass through solid matter, so it doesn't matter if the item is hidden behind other objects. Testing of the device in a storage room showed that XR localizes hidden objects to an accuracy of 3.85 inch, with subjects instantly finding and picking up the right items 98.9% of the time. Recently, scientists have been working on improvements to the system, including extending its range beyond a radius of 3 meters. This will be achieved by wirelessly connecting multiple XR headsets used in the same building. Honda has unveiled its AWV unmanned work vehicle project, which has already managed to grow to its third generation. The company has announced that it is looking for partners willing to test the fresh prototypes in operation. The new version features an increased size of the body, which fits 2 standard pallets, a relatively high payload of 213 pounds, speed up to 10 miles per hour, as well as a battery capacity of 18.6 kilowatt hours, which is enough for 10 hours of autonomous operation and 28 miles of mileage. The car navigates in space with the help of a GPS module or LiDAR. It works in autonomous mode or in remote control mode. Connecting to the cloud, the operator can program the trajectory of the Honda AWD from a tablet computer. The truck is primarily designed to work on construction sites, where he is confident that the Honda will help make up for the shortage of labor and transport. The first phase of testing was successful, and now the manufacturer is looking for partners to help test the machine in real conditions. The American company Zero Motorcycles, together with Hue Design, has developed a concept motorcycle SRS. The bike was powered by a ZF75-10, including an 82 kilowatt electric motor. But the main thing about this specimen is the cyberpunk design. The SRS combines futurism and conservative restraint. According to the manufacturer's idea, simple lines and thought-out design details are combined with an aggressive silhouette and brutal characteristics inherent in modern motorcycles. With a range of up to 200 miles and an auxiliary power unit on board, this vehicle is a dream for most motorcycle enthusiasts. The latest ZF 14.4 ion batteries, with a capacity of 14.4 kilowatt hour, according to Zero Motorcycles, are more than enough to cover even the most demanding rider demands. Besides the powertrain, this SRS has several key differences from its gasoline counterparts. For example, it does not make noise. The absence of the central location of the engine gives more freedom in the choice of luggage storage, and the price of the novelty is not reported yet. China's Manned Space Technology Administration. During an exhibition at the National Museum of China, plans were revealed to launch a new module for the Tiangong space station. It will be attached to 3 existing modules in low orbit, turning the T-shaped space station into a cruciform one. The new multifunctional module will have 6 docking ports, allowing even more spacecraft to dock with the space station. China previously announced that it would allow tourists to travel to Tiangong, justifying the station's expansion. Added to this is the Suntian Space Telescope, which will be launched in 2024 and will be able to dock with the station for repairs, maintenance, and upgrades. As it stands, Tiangong is about a quarter of the size of the International Space Station, which is nearing the end of its useful life. The American aerospace company Relativity Space announced on its Twitter blog that the first test flight of its Terrain 1 rocket will soon take place. This rocket is interesting because 85% of its components are printed on a 3D printer. The lightweight 30-meter two-stage Terrain 1 rocket has 9 engines on the first stage and 1 on the second. They are also designed using 3D printing. Methane is used as the propellant and liquid oxygen as the oxidizer. Terrain 1 will not carry a payload during its test launch, but the rocket is potentially designed to carry 1-2 tons of payload, which it can launch into low Earth orbit. TVT Space is also developing a heavy launch vehicle that could carry up to 20 tons of payloads into orbit. In addition, it will be reusable and will be printed almost entirely on a 3D printer. The share of such components will be 95%. The first launch is scheduled for 2024. The company claims that the use of 3D printing speeds up the construction of rockets to 2 months and makes their production markedly cheaper. And that's it. Thank you for watching and look forward to your comments.